Hi, I am Amma Duncan. I'm a corporate trainer, business coach. I founded the Fabulous Woman Network as well to support the growth of African women business leaders and youth. I am also an author, and one of my books is called Networking Made Easy. I wrote it for students and startups so that they can learn the skills that they need in addition to the technical skills to help them get to know and get their work into the right people's hands. When we go to school, actually, at least even when I was in school, employability skills was not what we learned. We learned about academic stuff. And maybe, yes, you can apply that, maybe you cannot. But when we come out, we have to figure it out for ourselves. And now in hindsight, I'm thinking, no, we should have learned how to work. We should have been made ready, and that's why I like the name Field Ready. We should have been made ready while in school because we go to school to learn. So why not learn things that will actually apply? I'm not saying it's not everything that applies. Some do. But I think employability skills make us ready, at least the basics. So we come to the field and then we already have the basics so we can build on them based on what the organization's own culture and everything is. So it's really important to learn it, to be intentional about learning it. Otherwise, we will struggle a lot. I did a lot of struggling in the beginning, but thank God for learning opportunities, but it makes it easier for us to learn. And the interesting thing about employability skills, they don't even only help us in work, they help us in life. So it encompasses all aspects of the person and it's super important. There are tons of it, but for the sake of this conversation, I'm going to focus on 4: critical thinking and problem solving. It doesn't matter what you're studying in school. These are skills you will need. You need to really get to the why of things and not just look at things on the surface and say, oh, this is the problem. You need to really dig, find out what is the real cause. It's like, when you're sick and then you go to the doctor and say, oh, I have a headache, and the doctor just gives you Panadol or paracetamol or something. But there is more to it. You keep coming back, same Panadol. It will never work until you figure out what is really the underlying cause. So this is why critical thinking and problem solving skills are also important. Leadership, especially communication. Communication encompasses everything. Every single thing we do, we are always sort of selling something to someone, an idea, a thought, a request, and it's important that the people can get us. So we need to understand how to communicate. It looks like, it's basic. We are all speaking, we are all learning to write, but there is more to it than we are taught in school. And then also networking skills. I actually even wrote a book on networking because it's so important. A lot of us are focusing on the academics, getting the grades, getting the A's and all, which is great. But if nobody knows you and is mentioning your names in rooms and showing you opportunities, sending you skills, you could be stuck. So it's important to learn how to network. And what does that even mean? What does it mean to network and all these? Every single person, especially those looking for work, should learn how to network. And finally, IT skills. Whether we like it or yes, not. Whether we like it or yes, the world these days is all about IT. I am sitting here in my office in Ghana, communicating with hopefully millions of people around the world via internet and, using my laptop and all. This is so basic. This is like a basic use of IT, a basic part of IT. And imagine if you didn't know how to use it, you could be losing out on a lot. And when I was growing up, I learned to type with a typewriter. But I bet now, for a Gen Z person, they don't even know what that means, Now, even the phones that we're using, the way it feels and look, it's different. And, I have my children sometimes laughing at me that I'm holding this phone and I don't even know what it can do. There is so much, we have so much power in our hands, but if we don't know how to use it, and it's not only just about using the IT, but even creating it, there is so much to learn. So yes, these 4 tips, there are many more, but I just want to say these skills, learn them: critical thinking and problem solving, leadership and communication, networking, and IT skills. I don't know who told us this, but we seem to believe that it's the certificate that matters. Oh, I went to school and I studied this and I have a certificate for it. But really, it's the knowledge and It's application. And a lot of us go in for the certificate without really doing the work and getting our hands dirty in the work so we understand how it works. So that perception, I think it's not working. And speaking of getting our hands dirty, it is fancy for us to finish school and get a job in which we sit in a nice office, get air conditioning, wear a suit in this weather. It's so hot sometimes. I don't know why we even want to wear suits, right? And we think that it's the prestige that matters, and it's holding us back from learning. For instance, I have met people who have degrees and their first jobs, they have to work in a factory and they feel like, oh, I've studied this engineering, that, so I should be the boss. But they don't know nothing, and they have to learn from the people who are on the factory floor. They don't understand. So this perception is holding us back. I know we have a lot of other challenges, but I just want to address the challenge of perception that a job should be prestigious. But the thing is, every single person who has made money or has risen to become a top CEO that we all respect started from somewhere. Did dirty jobs. If I list some of the jobs I did while growing up, even some of them in the UK, sometimes I'm surprised at myself. But all that learning led to me now being able to afford a nice office building and all that, So it's a process, and I really wish we would be humble enough to get our hands dirty and learn it well so we know how it works. Employers are everything here, especially if schools are not preparing us. And for me personally, it is through the employers I had that I even discovered my own calling, as we say it, the training opportunities. So it's really about the systems. So I'll speak of two things: systems and culture. Systems in terms of, for instance, having a system where employees are mentored by others, either above or even peers, are also coached so that they become professionals, leaders who think on their 2 feet. And then training opportunities. I know that most of organizations, when they are investing in personal development, they would usually start from training, orientation and all, which is great. But beyond that, mentoring, coaching also go a long way to build employees' confidence, grow them as leaders and all that. And then the second thing I mentioned was culture. It's nice to have all these systems in place, but if the culture is not supporting it, if the culture is hostile or negative, the people feel down when coming to work, it won't work. So there needs, depending on the organization, there needs to be a way that supports growth. And this is a big role that organizations have to play in building people. I have been fortunate to work with amazing companies that support my growth. I mean, like Field Ready, so it's really crucial. Employers give that gift to employees. Be humble and learn. Once you get into any space that gives you the opportunity to learn, sometimes what holds us back from learning is knowledge. The knowledge that we have already makes us feel, oh, I know this already, and it blocks us from learning. So behave as if, or think as if, I don't know anything about this and I'm willing to learn. This gives you the opportunity to learn as a child on a blank sheet, and then you get more understanding, deeper understanding than what you even know already. And then of course you take what you learn, what is applicable, and leave what is not. But don't be like, oh, we've studied this in school, or I've seen it somewhere and it's not a big deal. That hinders you from learning. So be open, be humble, and be willing to learn. And please enjoy the learning process. Learning must be fun. I honestly feel like life is about learning. One of my key things is this Japanese word kaizen, which means continuous improvement. I feel like our purpose on earth is just to come and keep learning and growing. So what's the point if it's not fun? If it's rigid, if it scares you? I don't get it. Why? Why would you learn like that? So enjoy the learning process. Be humble with it as well. And I wish every African and everyone else on earth the very best on this learning journey.